Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is BrightOps, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Where last time we continued dealing with this mutiny, discovered that the Rogue Trader captain herself is dead,
I'll lay claim to the stars.
and we are trying to deal with all this fun stuff. Okay. On to the bridge.
Done.
The horrific vision of the product of the warp injuries that permeate the bridge. Okay. Some more fuel tanks, some more stuff. Sorry, just had something in the back of my throat. Okay, you're still alive. Glad to hear it.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
Ethred, who is clutching a bleeding wound on his chest, gives you a tormented look. Help has arrived. Too late to change the tide, I'm afraid. But if there is any honor in you, we can at least die with dignity and give our lives for the Rogue Trader. You look dreadful. Theodora is dead. I found her in the Archmilitary in a study. His eyes widen. God, Emperor preserve us. The Rogue Trader is dead. The ship has lost her Lord Captain, and the house its head. Elthrid shudders and grasps his shoulders. As you watch, the sleeve of his jacket bursts open. Two bone growths pierce through the fabric. No matter what ritual Conrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second, the warp ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed. Ardura looks anxiously at Elthrid, then she glances back at you. I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. I forbid you from ever the very thought of yielding. Only by resigning to your fate will you truly suffer defeat. The ship can still be steered out of the warp, but we must first restore communication to the bridge and the navigator's sanctum. Alfred stares at you, and his eyes harden with cold resolve once more. Then we have no right to bow our heads. You can see Conrad clearly in the gloom of the bridge. The broken blade he is holding is stained with dark drops that seem to have a pearlescent glimmer to them. We are out of time! Elthred bites his knuckles, desperately thinking. You see a wave ripple across the whites of Elthred's eyes, and they begin to turn a sickly yellow. Ready your weapons. If we are to die this day, let us die with honor. Let's see if we can distract him a bit. You damn cur, the Rogue Trader's death will be avenged! What? Theodora is dead? He stares at you with seeming genuine bewilderment. No, that can't be. Not now. I still haven't... Elthrid lowers his head. Then he sighs and looks eyes at you, his gaze cold, haughty, and fanatical. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it. And you... see to it that the void ship breaks free from the warp. Watch over our realm, and farewell. A thread, don't!
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Well, that's...
The Emperor is with us!
I'll turn you into corpse starch.
You can use unique abilities called Heroic Acts or Desperate Measures. Momentum is required. Depending on the actions of your party in combat, the momentum bar will increase or decrease. A high momentum value allows a character to use a heroic act. A low value grants access to desperate measures. Both abilities can completely change the course of a battle, but every party member can either use one or the other, and only once in a single combat. So Chaos one. Here's the question. Is the Chaos Spawn on their side? Because I kind of doubt it. Okay, so... Sister of Battle there. And Dira can be here. And where is... You'll encounter enemies with various abilities and features. An icon next to an enemy's portrait indicates they are under the influence of some kind of effect. Yep. Let's see, effects and conditions, none. None. Oh, we can see what abilities he's got. Toxic Spurt, Rending Scream, and Devourer. The creature devours an ally, restoring 30% of the creature's maximum wounds. Okay, so we can just start eating people. Good to know. Hang on, don't you have... Okay, I don't... See, under the voice of command. Let's see. Yeah, I think that this particular one... Yep, we're just gonna give her the ability just to shoot things.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Your aim!
C. Gains momentum equal to 8. This ability also grants an additional 4 momentum for each enemy that is either in the... to do. Can only use once per combat. Not yet.
Not a problem for me.
Okay.
Can I fall back now?
Rending Scream. Bleeding. Okay, we be bleeding. You dick. Dismantling. Upper inflicts 1 exploit on all enemies in combat, then makes a free attack against a target. That attack always hits. Dismantling. When all enemies come, then makes a free attack. Until the end of the combat, the target suffers penalty to dodge and a 3 to armor.
No can do.
See what's happened with the effects. Exploit. Oh, yeah, that's... Okay, fair enough.
On it.
Exploit. Some more.
Was that you? Or...
Okay, we need to bring down the big bastard. Okay, I think something happened there, but I'm not entirely sure what. Say firearm. The soldier gains grants the ability to make a number of extra attacks equal to their... Okay. So we have definitely done a Perils of the War, but I'm not entirely sure what we just did.
Doubt is for the weak. None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Wait, what the hell? Just... Energy boost. What the fuck just happened there? Well,
At your beck and call.
well, we just lost one of the crew, but and so to failed degradation. When psychos reach deeper into the warp to power their abilities, there's always a chance the Imperial bleeding into a reality. To the beginning of what have we got? What if minor psychic powers have a chance of triggering psychic phenomena? Okay, so we've accidentally created some psychic phenomena. This. Daring Breach. Warrior meter stalls all HP to the end of the turn. They don't lose MP for pulling attacks. The warrior is no longer able to melee attacks this turn.
No matter the cost. It will be done.
So you can just keep
At your
swinging.
beck and call.
Okay, so that's what you do. You take enough damage, you auto-kill someone? Okay, that guy's definitely getting promoted.
All too easy. You don't stand a chance.
Right. So you're dead? Good.
I don't have time for this.
It will be done.
Okay,
So that's what that feeling was about.
has suffered a certain number of these injuries faced with trauma. Make use of medical treat injuries to avoid characters suffering traumas. Removing trauma is a more difficult task. They can only be healed by resting on the ship or at the certain other places suitable to rest. Okay.
Will do. Anything else?
Power your thing. Reality quake. Oh shit. I did not realize that.
I'm not so sure.
Oh crap. That was my bad.
What is this foreboding?
I'd rather not. Victory is imminent.
Come on, boy. Keep going.
My tactics are flawless. There's nowhere to hide.
That's not the Seneschal's job. Someone else can do this.
Oh, he's too
At your
far.
beck and call.
Well, that's unfortunate. He's a bit too far away. Shit.
Pain and duty go hand in hand. Time to redouble our efforts.
The character's lost consciousness, the runes have been reduced to 0. The character can no longer persist in combat, nor can they be resuscitated by any means. They will remain gain conscious after the battle and receive a trauma, which can be healed by resting on the ship, yada yada.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Right, you're just gonna have to hold your ground.
My ears are ringing.
Nothing I can't do.
Indeed.
He can hold. Not entirely sure what it just did, but things happen.
It will be done.
That warp bullshit stops today. Seriously, that deck enforcer is getting promoted.
Did you want something?
See, trauma. Head trauma. The creature's intelligence, perception, and willpower is reduced by 15. Can be removed and fully healed on the void ship.
Sins hidden in the heart turn all to decay.
Crippled leg. Agility is reduced. Movement points is reduced by half. Okay, we also got to level up. Hooray. What have we got? So, finest hour. The officer grants an ally an extra turn with full AP and movement. During the extra turn, there is no attack limit. Let's see. Commanding voice to increase the range. Resolve is increased by 3. Blood of Martyrs. Let's see. Let's go with Steel Resolve, I think. Available tones. Yeah, this is the one I... Why is it not letting me swap this out? So am I... See, one rank available. Yes, I'm looking for it. Where... Available... Oh wait, unless it's this it's talking about. Let's see. If we can... Nope, we can't. Apparently we can't get that one. I don't... it's being problematic. Like, there's... Why is it doing that? Why won't it let me actually level up? Daring breed. Yep. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this one. And yet it won't let me bloody... Why won't it let me do this? Sometimes this game gets weird. We haven't gotten reputations yet. Okay, there we go. Bloody weirdo. see, so which... Choose a talent. You already have this feature, fair enough. Desolation. Warrior deals an additional 3 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent bases. Yeah. Honestly, we can pick that up. And in your particular case... I mean, making him tougher isn't a terrible idea, to be honest, though. I think we'll give you the your weapon skill. There we go. Apparently the game just wanted to be a little weird for a bit. Gah. Okay, willpower. I think we can get some willpower. Let's see, bolt weapon features prerequisites, bolt weapon proficiency. Bycap. So where is bolt weapon proficiency? Combat Master, enemies no longer get melee support against this character. Okay, Swift Movement, Dueling Master, Las Weapon Expert, Nimble, Power Weapon, Solid Weapon Projectile. See, what weapon do I currently use? Is it good? Oh, I'll cancel that. Yes, we're going with that. Characteristic. Train ballistic skill, I think we've got those, so... What? We have so many options, it's nuts. Base skill tech use, we've already... Okay, I think we... Oh, advanced skill. Yeah. You know what, screw it, yeah, we can get... improve checks. We can improve our tech skill. Why not? We are very good with technology. It seems like a good idea. Okay, intelligence and perception. Let's see. Yeah, I think we should probably give her intelligence because doing warp stuff is what she's good for. Yep, you can have some base skill warp, why not? And finally you. Ballistic agility. Yeah, we can give you... You know what? Willpower. We'll go with willpower because I think it makes perfect sense for her to have it. Rack and Ruin. Camaraderie. See to do. Each adjacent ally, the soldier deals more damage. Sorry, I'm just looking through a little bit, just for the sake of... You know what? Medium armor does not reduce dodge. Give her a chance to not be shot. Because you never know. Alright, everyone alive? Blade Shard. Gloves of Endurance. Whenever the injury falls unconscious in combat, their allies gain 1 damage. Mantle of Heroism. Requires Iron Class. Each heroic act used in battle increases the wearer's dodge by 20. Let's see, you... Yep, we can give you that. And stuff, we can give you the gloves. Why not? Oh, you've... Ah, so it seems that various crew members can, if they may also get trauma rather than just die.
It's about time.
So you need to find the Master of Helm, wherever they happen to be. Reva, Master Helmson, system status report. By the Emperor, it's essential. Living and breathing. The white-haired man, his sickly pale skin, salutes you. Well, there's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing off the vid screens for throw knows how long. We need to re-establish contact with the Navigator's Sanctum. It's our only chance of escaping from the warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the survivors buckling under the stress. Albert cuffs the crying officer without even looking. Restore the Fox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. A lad pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. Right ops, you may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Kless. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take your place in the ritual that is about to commence. He directs your attention upwards, to the throne that sits at the apex of the tall structure. How did you people survive here? Lanced around the bridge. Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not somebody else's. When they barged near, the ones with the Master of Whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators. Then I prayed for a rescue. What must I do? Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations. Wait for the officers to report. Blah. Blast it all to the void. Translation is a craft, not something to be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master Brightops. These people are about to do the impossible. The least they deserve is the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Please hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk. Let us go. I mean, to be fair, we've probably been in the seat before, but not this one. And let's be honest, each ship probably has its own thing. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous currents invisible to mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other a vessel of ancient evil pours into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself for the sake of lives that are not your own? So many threads stretch between you and other creatures of your world. Pitiful, light, worthless links, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. A muddied, extrate, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voice that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that all these voices are the myriad manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. You are to blame for Theodora's death? I am saving my people. Do your worst, but you cannot stop me. Be gone, Phantom. What do you want with me? I am saving my people. Do your worst, but you cannot stop me. Theodora lets out a loud, long screech, a shrill, overwhelming sound that can only be interpreted as laughter. Lead them, mortal. Guide them. Persuade them. Force them to walk your path. You will need followers, for destiny is preordained. Your head starts to spin and vicious, like vicious drops slither down your cheeks. You blink, and you are no longer looking at Theodora. It is the traitor Volktar, just as fluid and inferior as the previous apparition. The same terrifying voice seethes in his lips. The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured and the steps taken, and yet you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the iron world, I see you by my side on that day, the day of my resurrection. The image is scattered by invisible sorcerer's winds, and you see Irida, her eyes aglow with the same sinister fire. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you in the weapon of our return to me. A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of a future yet unknown passes before your eyes. A flash of crimson, purple, the images replace one another in a violent kaleidoscope without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Applard, the loyal seneschal of the dynasty. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine. Rava turns around and looks up at you. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Ablard, who is standing next to you. Sanchel, the navigated sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means... Albert nods almost absent-mindedly. The navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the von Van Clee's flagship. We will honor his memory along with that of all who died this day. Oliver does not look away. He is giving you a hard stare, his white-brown furrowed. Sanchel, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As first officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty.
It takes time for Ablard to respond. You watch as he grits his teeth, unable to bring himself to say anything. Finally, he adjusts his blood-stained coat, straightens, and begins to speak.
By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision.
So, by waiting for the first wave of shock cries, Ablard glances at you and continues, saying nothing.
It is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the warrant of trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim... have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live.
Abbott stops short and glares fiercely at confused officers.
The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
He looks at least half a decade older. Yep. By the right of blood.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
And I just got a little note saying that we completed the prologue. Hooray! I will admit, if people are interested in seeing me play more of this, I would love to hear of it, but we'll continue on. Deep shadows of wariness can be seen in Epled's face, though the old officer's eyes are keen. They rake over you from head to toe. He frowns, mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You cannot help but notice that the Sensual does not know how to talk to you, or where to begin. His hesitation brings an involuntary smirk to your face, as though someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Ephled pulls himself together. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses among the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy's deputy, while others go unfilled entirely, and now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. How do we come to lose so many officers? It appears the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found. Which is unsurprising, given that their informant on board was our own Master of Whispers, Albert Grimaces. What is up on the agenda for this meeting? Reports on the condition of the ship and crew. The Lord Captain is not usually drawn away from her important affairs to attend such routine briefings, but this is a unique situation. I am still receiving updates from across the ship, and they are not encouraging. Getting this bird to fly could take a gargantuan effort, even so far as you personally negotiating with the authorities of the system we are currently in. So prepare to hear a bevy of complaints and excuses, your lordship. Take this opportunity to get a good look at the officers who work 6 decks away from the bridge, and they in turn will have the honour of beholding the visage of their Lord Captain. Have you succeeded in tracking down Conrad? Abelard grips his teeth. No, Lord Captain, in all the commotion his trail went cold. Our people are still on the hunt for him, and any mutineers who may still be sulking the ship's many corridors, but frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that we are now one shuttle short. I am afraid it will be some time before he answers for all that he has wrought. Do not want to be the rogue trader? Fuck that, I want to be rogue trader. I am ready to start the briefing. Summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the orders of the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. A dozen pairs of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention, officers! You have been granted an honour. Lord Captain Brightops van Cleese will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. I haven't had the time to listen to every last officer on this hulking down the time. Effort, give me a precise... What are the major problem, Presec? Perhaps you would introduce those present, Abelard? As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points at a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vidius Zeria Otta of the Tommen line, our new Voxmaster. Okay, Voxmaster Vidis. It is an honor to serve your lordship. The Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communication between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and ears, Lord Captain. Beside her is Reva, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or a pirate trap. The bearded man with pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face, gives a sullen nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here's ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our High Factorum Generous Don Rock, who oversees supplies, procurement, and the general material well-being of the ship. Janice. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with oily hair offers an obstinate I don't know how to pronounce that. Obsequious smile and brows. It is an honour, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crew works to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly the Drives Master, servant of the Omnissiah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drives Master offers a salute resembling a dance, involving the complicated manipulation of all the tech priests' dendrites. Is that everyone? Unfortunately, our choir master, the esteemed Vicaria Volts, head of the Astropith section, is unable to join us. He is in charge of communications with distant star systems. Master Weists, I don't know, has been in a trance for some time now, attempting to contact other planets in the von Cleese Protectorate and inform them of Lady Theodora's passing and Conrad's treachery. I will deliver a report to your lordship on the astropath's progress as soon as it is possible to do so. All other present are adjacent secretaries and deputies. They are here to make a record of proceedings. Okay, wish to hear the Infernus Master's report. Yes, Lord Captain. A tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment, in terms of material losses and crew casualties, have been completed. The results have been submitted to the Sensual and the High Factorum. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Masters and his master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low voice pitched for your ears only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. High Factorum, what have you to report? We are toiling day and night to complete a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given into the tech priest's hands for attention and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot relinquish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Reklen Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winterscale Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at that level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Especially true given Kurlagos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planets, rumbles Alfred, frowning. Let's see, Drive Master, I will hear from you now. Zaritala. A voice distorted by a Fox Ray translator emerges from under the tech priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report that the Engine Seer Prime, overseer and spiritual authority of all the tech priests on board, fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experiences and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible. Would someone care to... No, I understand completely. I see, thank you. Just for those who are having trouble understanding, basically, the main engine's fine, but enough components nearby was damaged that it is not working perfectly. Also, the Prime, the lead engine seer, is dead, and we are going to need a replacement. The tech priest bows her head. Master Helmsman, deliver your status report. Right you are, Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our engineer and prime and navigator who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what will happen. What will happen first? Our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads? Your Lordship, if you allow me to interject, when we arrived in this system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted accounts of all the available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobolite station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. We have located a navigator in the very same system. To have located a navigator in this very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain launches through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor who you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the demon that appeared before you during the translation to real space echo in your mind. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the moor of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round the system till our heads are swimming, as long as the promethium and supplies last. If any thick-ass grok shit lowlives come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't worry on that score. Master of Ordnance, anything to report? The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told, but just ask anyone. We got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. The Master of Ordnance chokes back the words he was obviously about to blurt out without thinking. He casts another look at you before lowering his gaze. I apologize profusely, Lord Captain. Pardon the fool. The ship is in ruins. Every other officer is dead, and the Lord Captain is no longer with us. Fear has taken hold of me. He looks at you. But I've heard of you. Oh yes, your fame has reached even as far as the Expanse. I can't be showing myself up in front of an illustrious person such as yourself. He adjusts his uniform and stands rimrod straight. The Master of Ordnance can report that the rest of the arsenal has been saved and the battery is in good order. We are ready to fight if that is the Lord Captain's will. To summarize, we have sustained serious injuries in crew members and require a new engineer prime and navigator. Is that all that is preventing us from continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector, but we will never reach Footfall without first solving these three immediate problems. Okay, what can you tell me of the system we currently find ourselves? I see to the Voxmaster on this point, Mistress Tulliman. We are in the Rakadsa system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in the system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobolite station has not simply failed to answer, it seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Rakad Monaris itself is also not responding to our hails. But what is most alarming is that our augurs have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. The situation's not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and new crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and the Navis Nobolite station and find out what in the void is going on. Thank you for your reports. Dismissed. The assembled officers salute you as one. Your Lordship, there is one other thing, a confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, Applad hesitates, your eternally esteemed predecessor brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything, and I shall tell you. The Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Kronos expanse. Let's say I would be honored to fulfill his commission. What is he asked. I came across a strange handwritten letter in Theodora's desk. It was signed XC. You're referring to the contents of that note, I presume. Yes, quite right. XC. Xavier Kelsia. Okay. Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Hendrix von collects. An interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he is somewhere in the system, that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any other more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilites or the Governor of Ricad Minorus, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. We have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is merely taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Van Cleese Protectorate. Appled gives you another scrutinizing look, as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under this mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and he seems to be about to offer some words of encouragement. Adria, Sister Argentina, explain yourselves. The sister about grimly nods towards Adira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insists on seeing the rogue trader. I judge that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argentina's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have time, rogue trader. Adira's glazed eyes rove over those assembled. One word burst from her lips. Daybreak. Adira, come to your senses. Damn it! Adira presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard. My head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak, or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Teles? No, not yet anyway. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make sense of any of it. As soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it, alright? Well, Captain, if you want me to take a close look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you would benefit from those as well. The Psyker's bitten lips stretch into a wary smile. If there is nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. It's time to get to work. Use the system map on the center of the bridge to issue orders to the crew. A thin, pale woman stands among the rest of the crew. There is a thick bundle of cables coming at the back of her skull and disappearing under a ceremonial garment, and you see a grate of a quietly humming vox where a mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Let's see, what are the Voxmaster's duties? Why do you look so strange? Let's see, chance. Fairly solid. Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. Succeeded. The Voxmaster nods obediently and passes several switches on the device she's holding. It is done, Lord Captain. Gained experience. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normal quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Glad to hear it. What are the Voxmaster's duties? I'm the eyes and ears of this void ship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels, and we also ensure clean communications and the optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crew are harboring, what your subjects are whispering about in local channels after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over shortwave Vox transmissions, just come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain, I have no information that would be of interest to you at this moment. I'm not going to ask her why she looks so strange. That would be all for now. I live to serve, Lord Captain. I can ask why she's so strange. We know what. She's very... this is fucking 40k. If she's going to bloody use the Vox system, it's going to have to be a part of her. Alright, let's go talk to her.
Rogue trader.
There are dark circles on her eyes, her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's a little on edge. Rogue trader. You said you had a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue trader.
The accursed servants of Chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Claris's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls would expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans? Let's see. Let's see, I could be a complete dick. I will meet them, no formalities needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives to the Van Cleese dynasty. My consideration is the least that they deserve. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. The motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sisters are keeping an eye on these pups. Alfred glanced at the gathered children. It is hardly the Schola Pentorum in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Adagari is standing to the side of the group. As you approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet you, Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House Van Cleese. Grandly address. I, the rogue captain of the seat B2 now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the Van Cleese banners and those of the Imperium. I'm proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. Address the chaperones. Give them treats and escort them to their homes. I believe a minute of beholding Lord Captain is a great enough honor for them. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. The teenagers keep staring at you. A girl who has remained close to Argentina smiles uncertainly. A skinning, pale lad tries to throw his shoulders back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. One of the scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face crosses his head back and says bitterly, So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you, noble lot, and you just give us speeches? Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flash in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and to scold him for his impotence. Their compartment leaves much to be desired. I hope that they will be moulded into worthy sons of the house. This audience is over. Punish the troublemaker, put the rest back to the bays. This audience is over. Let's see, address it. If you have things to say them in the fear. I will listen. The Moyle smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say. It won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks, or worse. I understand your grief and dismay. Your parents died. It's not an easy thing to go through, but they gave their lives for the truth, for the good of the whole ship, for the Imperium. Do not speak of their honorable fate with anger and disdain. When the heretics who killed your parents attacked this ship, I was there. I took command. I fought and I repelled the assault as quickly as I could, but no war can be won without losses. You can only strive to do what is within your power. The strong have the power to decide the fates of others. The weak either obey or die. If you see a different lot in life, boy, save your grumbling and look for an opportunity to raise above the rest. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. It is hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly. Then he catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Applet gives a sign, and the servants immediately emerge carrying packaged treats with Van Cleese emblazoned on the wrappers. It appears that the Scent Shield came prepared for any contingency. Argenta rubs her temple pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Oh. Like there's an actual... I will admit, probably somewhat humble for a rogue trader, but this is... They are the people who succeeded some brave men and women who deserve respect. Plus, it's worth building some loyalty amongst the potential future officer corps of our actual ship. Alright. Master Helmsman, let's go have a talk with you. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue veins snake underneath his white, almost dove-covered skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helm Raven at your service. What can you tell me about the other officers? Good-for-nothing wasters, that's what they are. Each and every one. Take Janice Dunrock, that high-born weasel. He fawns over the officers, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his schemes so they can take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen was ferrying goods from Footfall for him, got caught by the Sensual, and ended up in the Void Hatch. Dunrock couldn't care less. The Voxmaster? Another Tellerman, like the last one, Void rest him, is no better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took up her post, said the Vox systems were damaged and the Enginarium had no contact with other modules. But how am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the cogs reports with the power of my mind? First Officer Varianson. I can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I've ever met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him have had words a few times before he left me alone. Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Sensual when it came to helming the void ship. Then there's that woman, what's her name? Teles? Lady Theodora brought her along whenever she went, and look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out it was that witch that delivered her to an early grave, just like countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with young Ptolemy, or at least she used to be. Do you know like anyone at all? Reva looks perplexed. What kind of question is that? I like you, and Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I was making cracks about the rogue trader? I don't want to die just yet. I'll take my leave. Lord Captain acknowledges the note and turns away. So apparently you don't like the Voxmaster, but in fairness to her, I understand if she had to turn off the Vox systems just No, that'll be all. Actually, hang on. Anything interesting? No information. Okay.
Lord
That's
Captain.
Appellard serves you briskly, but meticulously, as though he's inspecting you for shortcomings. Then he offers a courteous nod. I'd like to know more about my Sensual.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Well, tell me about yourself. What were you before you became Theodore Sensual?
I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, a used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I'm still an officer of the Imperium.
Good lad, I understand why we get along so well now.
I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue trader's army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue trader's personal council. It was a difficult choice for me. But I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse.
Leaving the Imperial Navy is far from easy. Why were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. Well, the Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue. The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing, or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank.
You know what? Fair enough. The way you talk about Theodora, you're beginning to think you were in love with her.
What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless.
Okay. Do you have a family?
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Of course.
You may call me by your first name if you wish.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
You know what? Completely fair. I can't blame him, but at least I gave him the honor of doing it if he wished. So that may be useful.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation in the Coronis Expanse for me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words. The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Fair enough. Who are the main players?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Kalagos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them.
Okay.
If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, Among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis expanse.
Okay. What? Conrad, our previous Minister of Opus, what can you tell me about his betrayal? What do we know can we do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight.
Fair enough. I can't fault him.
We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the von Valancius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps. As you wish, Lord Captain.
Let's take my leave.
Lord Captain.
Oh yeah, I guess we could probably... If she's still there... Yeah, we could probably find a bit more about her.
Greetings.
See, in the stillness, Sage Argentina radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining the slight blush on her cheeks, she is reciting a prayer and looks at you only once she has spoken the final line. Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on her ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
Let's see. What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned making a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
When did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to the planet and deal with them.
The
Per
path to
Iceland.
that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valancius Protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
What was it like traveling Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
Don't have any more questions, thank you.
As you wish.
So what is that's keeping you in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
I enjoy your company.
Those are very courteous words, Rogue Trader. Thank you, both for your words and your hospitality.
She gives you another somewhat puzzled look. Thank you for this conversation. Until next time. Okay. Any more? I know our time has gone off, but a while ago. But damn it, I kind of want to just see if I want to talk to other people. Okay, generous. Let's see. Rogue Trader's a ghost. Okay. The corpulent man in lavish clothes bows before you, not without difficulty. A servos. Let's see. So apparently there's rumors of someone seeing the Rogue Trader just walking around in levels of the ship. But it is a sorcerous heresy among the crew, you never know. The corpulent man in lavish clothes bow for you, not without difficulty. A servo skull whirls over his shoulder while the fingers of his augmented hand drum against the sheets of paper he is holding. He regards you with attentive interest through the lens of his magnifying implant. Greetings, your lordship. Generous Denrock, at your service. See, how did you come to serve the dynasty? I came from Dragonos, your lordship. I have been a subject of your dynasty since birth, and have always strived to be of use to the great Rogue Trader. Alas, it was not my fate to be the primary heir of my own family, due to me being 15th in line for the title, so I decided not to stand in the way of those behind me in case they attempted to shorten the waiting list at my expense. That's at an almost kindly chuckle. While my brothers and sisters schemed against one another, I studied the exact sciences and mastered bookkeeping, the greatest art of the Adeptus Administratum. I must admit that the accumulation of wealth, something one can control, is far more exciting than hunting, carousing, and the other traditional amusements of my noble peers. What was it like working with Theodora? Oh no, that's a tricky question, your lordship. Do you ask it of everyone, knowing they risk losing their heads should they let slip a careless remark about your predecessor? I shall put it thus. Working with Lady Theodora was never boring and always profitable. The Imperium has billions of subjects, but very few do what they love and what they are best suited to. I would say Lady Theodora was one of the fortunate ones. She was a model rogue trader, and she surrounded herself with those who excelled at and loved their work. Hers was a rare talent indeed. I wish to know what you think of our fellow crew members. Keeping tabs on your subordinates? A wise move. Tell me who interests you, and I'll endeavor to be as honest as possible. Generous's eyes light up. He is obviously eager to speak his mind. What do you think of the sensual? Lady Theodora managed to do what even the Imperial Navy could not, teach Master Veresian to carry out orders that he fundamentally disagrees with. I do not know what method she used, but the result was impressive. Having said that, there is something else you need to know, Lord Captain. Your sensual is capable of being something far greater than a mere conduit for your will. He possessed the cunning and experience to run the Protectorate passably whenever Lady Theodora was away. That really is saying something. Keep an eye on that old officer, I say, or alternatively turn him into a faithful ally. I'd like to hear your opinion on Conrad, the former Master of Whispers. I hope I never see him set foot aboard this vessel again, not even as a servitor, though he would be able to do at least some good that way. Someone has to clean the latrines, after all. The Factorum's bloated face grows stern. He gave us all quite a fright on that ill-fated day, Lord Captain, and still, to speak candidly, I never enjoyed Master Voltigier's company, but I believed him to be a man who knew how to do his job. Regretfully, I was mistaken. It turned out Conrad lacked the most important quality for a Master of Whispers, unwavering loyalty to the road trader, and his failing came to light in the most deplorable manner. What do you have to say about Vox Master Vidius Toyman? Ah yes, the Voidborn. You know, in my family we used such creatures as quarry whenever we went hunting. Mutants are the bane of humanity, an unseen tumor that threatens to end us all. But I digress. In the brief time Toyman has spent his post as Voxmaster, I have not noticed any significant flaws in her character, or anything that would make me question her professional qualities. Needless to say, she is very diligent, as is any Voidborn seeking to earn their master's affection. I believe you can trust in her skills and loyalty. As you wish. Do you know more about the people who buy our plunder? I want to know more about the people who buy our plunder. Of course, Lord Captain. Who interests you exactly? We most often deal with the followers of Saint Darius, the explorators, the Kalabalsaki mission, or, Emperor forgive us, the Fellowship of the Void. What do the folk acquire from us? The Denizens still hope to bring the Coronis expanse into the warm embrace of the faith, just as their flock hopes to receive the aid of the Delesian missionaries. Each crate of food, shipment of clothes, or box of medicine marked with your seal is a sign the rogue trader himself believes in the Sack's future success. Reverend Hermanus is the first among the detonations and is most often seen in Footfall's Grand Auditorium. A gloomy fellow, but some most believe him to be a saint. But the Explorators. Members of the Explorer Cognizance Fleet, which has been roaming the Cronus expanses for a good while now. Omnissiah knows what they are hoping to find, but their acolytes regularly show up on inhabited worlds, seeking bits of sacred knowledge, tracking down mechanical relics, and sniffing out Xenos artifacts, if truth be told. Supposedly, they want to save the ignorant rabble from corruption. A tech priest named Opticron 22 does business with us on the fleet's behalf. He can be found on the docks of Footfall. Masters of the cold trade, immoral criminals, and notorious crooks to the last man. The mission is but one branch of this mafia gang that has taken root in the Kalek sector. You can do business with them as long as you take the necessary precautions. They are led by Vladium Tokara, who recently appointed himself Liege of Footfall. Of course, he is a trusted ally of rogue trader Winterscale, but he will not refuse you, another of the Emperor's anointed. If you wish to talk to Vladium, look for him in the Liege Palace on Footfall. One of the Fellowship of the Void. Generous emits a laugh-like gurgle. A pompous name, is it not? In truth, they are a gang of pirates who are forever squabbling over loot and territory. However, some of their little flotillas need supplies, or can take awkward cargo off our hands without asking questions. Of course, there is always a risk that these scoundrels will change their mind and attempt to board us instead, but so far, our macrocans have managed to keep them in line. They say Reza Colvera speaks on the Fellowship's behalf. The Adeptus Amnesia on Footfall is rumoured to be her favourite haunt. Why are we giving away our spoils to these people in the first place? To profit from them, of course. Most of the things you will find during expeditions are complete junk to one such as yourself, but the less fortunate and affluent servants of the Emperor think them treasures, especially when they are bestowed by the great rogue trader himself. Delesian fanatics and pirate cutthroats, Calabresian dealers and explorators, none will refuse our help in these dark and trying times. And there may come a time when we shall be the ones requiring aid, and it would be beneficial to have allies willing to provide it. Change the subject. Wish to bolster my retinue with skilled fighters. Rest assured, there are people of the most outstanding talents among the thousands of your crew. I will contact the overseers at once. Oh. Oh, we can actually create someone. Whoops. Close interface, accept. My retinue and I are in need of training. I will show you our sparring chambers at once. Oh. Okay, we can reset their progress. Fair enough. Oh, whoops. That was actually a map. My bad. Let's see, the events of Rogue Trader take place in a vast region of space known as the Kronos Expanse. The sector is comprised of numerous star systems, many of which you will get a chance to visit. You will find yourself securing the void and scouring the void in search of routes leading to new uncharted systems, discovering more routes as you explore the Expanse, but you see before you the map of one such system. Each star system contains objects you can interact with. Some objects are marked as points of interest. Move your ship to a point of interest. Okay, there's the ship, planet. Prison planetoid. An identified void ship. The artificial facility and Menoris. Wrong one. How do we go back? Oh, there it is. Back to bridge. Alright, we will return to that another time, maybe. So the map. Lord Captain's quarters. Let's see. Where was... Oh, there she is. Tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant as she rubs the implant at her temple. Her collar is undone and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, she turns her head towards you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. Let's see. Where do you come from? What about your abilities?
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
You're a psyker. Psykers are only granted the right to live with the Emperor's blessing. Have you ever been to Terra?
Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have.
Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronis Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
Oh, you're Lyra.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
You never finish your story.
It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, all right?
Fair enough. What did you do before you came to be on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
Adira looks at you expectantly, then, as though clarifying, she uses her hands to indicate a head exploding and laughs. How did you end up in the Rogue Trader's service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too.
Adira squints as though she's peering at something far away.
As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the von Valancius dynasty.
Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. After some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
Let's talk about something
Of
else.
course, Lord Captain.
What's it like being Psycho?
Lord Captain, forgive me. But it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every Psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
How do you live with this whispering in your head?
Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
What happens if your door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me. I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
You know what? Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you.
Adira laughs, rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, your colour begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. The chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Strains listen, but friends raise her heads. The Psyker shrugs sheepishly and sniffs. Did you know Theodora well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
Takes a sharp breath and shakes her head.
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices, ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Got any new story for me?
You bet I do, Lord Captain.
Let's see, she becomes more animated and her expression turns slightly dreamy as she crawls one of her stories.
Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrived at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
I will take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service.
Okay, just having a quick look around to see if we can spot any of the other offices. Nope. Well, while we're to the Lord Captain's quarters, might as well see if anything's changed up here. This hefty tome contains schematics for the flagship of the House of Van Cleves, in addition to a plethora of copies of reports and other documents. The majestic portrait paid by a skilled artist greets guests who have been granted permission to enter the Lord Captain's quarters. The coat of arms of House von Van Cleves is crowned with the text of the Oath of the Rogue Trader, the Emperor's faithful servants. The light glinting off the polished skull of some unknown Xenos makes it seem like the bone face is mocking you. Ancestry records, Lord Character's private cogitator. Handwritten with a seal. Esteemed Theodora, change in circumstances demanded your immediate assistance in a mutual clause. Forthwith upon receiving this letter and performing the necessary preparations of the crew, you are to depart for the Rakard system. One of my acolytes, interrogator Henrix von Klix, operates there at the present time. Upon your arrival in the system, you will, without delay, make contact with him and offer any assistance required of you, after which you will provide him passage to the Verbondes system aboard your ship. On Footfall, the interrogator will remove himself from your presence to await further instructions. anticipating any... Hang on. How do you... Oh. Anticipating any questions you may have, I will stress that the nature of Interrogator von Klerk's activities on Rakad Minoris is of no concern to you. If required, Van Cleeks himself will disclose the details of his mission. May the Emperor's light be with you. XC. The ticking of the clock is too quiet for its bulky size. Shrine of Remembrance. Ah, I'm guessing these were the backers. The books are packed with ancient books, piles of paper and tomes, many of which look rather worn. The parlor organ seems to have been sitting idle for many years. See, Litanies of the Faithful to his word and name. The text below his psalm heading looks noticeably faded. It appears that the prayer book has been kept open on this page for a very long time. The position of the board suggests that this game of regicide was interrupted. The winner was never determined. The conceived displayed weapons has mesmerized me. You've never seen so many articles before. This fine sculpture made from the strange metal seems to absorb any rays of light that fall on it. A bizarre fragment hung on the trophy board. The light, smooth surface of the object is dotted with dark spots and crumbling holes. The long-dead eyes of a fierce monster forever capture the fear and pain of its final moments. The water calming murmurs and the warm steam feels exquisitely deceptive. A moment of weakness and rest promises nothing but danger. Ah, we got some goods. Cracked data slate. See, the final transcripts of the chartist are complete. The fire reckoning is now fully equipped. The object has been loaded aboard its contain... at inventory, but info. Fire is now fully equipped. The object has been loaded aboard with its containment intact and placed in the forebay to ensure maximum contact with the target. Coordinates set and received by the bridge. Target's estimate time arrival in the system The fire reckoning is crewed by a servitor. High chances of the ship returning are minimum. Estimated time. Okay. Unfinished letter. Collect. What have we got here? Oh, we can also... yeah. Unfinished letter, let's see. His Kajin is irrelevant. Vector's mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be irreproachable at. Uncovering spies, and this one was a senior officer. Oh, I am not about to discard him. Conrad has served me for too long for his removal to go painlessly from the Protectorate. Besides, he's no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the Van Cleese line when his skills and talents as Master of Whips are so valuable. Let his disinheritance serve as a humiliating but instructive lesson from which he may yet learn. Beyond the stained glass, the distant stars glimmer in the darkness of endless space, filling you with an odd sense of dread. Well, at least they took her body out of here before we showed up, so... yay. Oh well. I think on this note, we will leave it here. Until next time, my name is Bright Ops. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.